Okay, this topic is never going to get old, and I'll probably talk about it more than just this one time for sure, I guarantee you. Alcohol. Whew. Alcohol has different meanings as we come into this new era of NA beers and NA mocktails, cocktails, and the general overall acceptance of whether you drink or don't drink, and how it's becoming less of a issue. Back in the day, when I went to college, if someone didn't drink, they had the problem. There was something wrong with them. I think O'Doul's was and Sharps were the only two NA beers that I can think of, at least on a grand scale. Nowadays, there's Athletic Brewery and other multiples of non-alcohol beer and mocktail cocktail that you can order online. You can buy at the local store. You can still enjoy the flavor and look cool in a setting of adults, what have you. But even today, you can drink sparkling water. Some people say they put sparkling water with a lime in it to make it look like a gin and tonic. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your life. And what I'm getting at is I have explored alcohol a lot. I was a tour guide, and as you can imagine, every person who is on my tour is on holiday. And so I am naturally just, you're the average of the five you hang out with. So it's just a matter of time that I would start hanging out with them, drinking and having a good time. But I also had to do my job and work, and then there's times where in the off season I would sometimes use alcohol to numb my pain of coming back into civilian life. It was a hard adjustment to just go from being on holiday all the time and then coming back into the routines of doing laundry and driving, commuting to work, and all that stuff. So I've also enjoyed it as just a onesie twosie, or we're going to a concert, going to celebrations. But recently, over the years, I have tapered my intake, and most recently, been very adamant about not drinking. As I get older, I think perhaps wiser on the longevity of life and the preciousness of life and those around me who have passed away, and a lot of them related to drinking, whether by self-inducing or accidents, is a strong reminder of how much alcohol can impact your life and those around you. What I've found that once I started investigating alcohol more and more, it did not serve me. There's so much of this out there on the internet that you can research, but overall, your cognition, your sleep, your skin, your organs, your bank account, your decisions or poor decisions, if you drink, you naturally want to eat greasy foods, or you want to stay up late, and your rest is broken up, your sleep is poor, your anxiety and depression level might spike in the morning, you might have regrets. I mean, that initial drink activates, I think, somewhere frontal lobe or somewhere in the brain that gives you kind of that euphoric, that fun loving, and then after that, it can be difficult to find that after the second and third and fourth, and now you start to speak louder, and you might say something you regret, and although you might dance better, and it didn't really come down to this episode, but I'd say the Huberman Lab podcast, about which you can find on YouTube, and his podcast Huberman, he did a deep dive on alcohol and the effects on the body, and they're finding so much more than they did, decades ago. For quite a while, it was deemed that alcohol is good for you in moderation, or good wine has, resveratrol or whatever it's called, byproduct from the grapes that's good for your heart. And now they're in this lab podcast, they're saying that no alcohol is good for you. And just even a weekend binge can be bad for you if you don't drink all week. So this week I did a kind of a field test, and I went to several concerts, and I had a couple beers each night. My sleep from the previous 2 weeks of sobriety and not drinking drastically changed. I mean, it was so bad. And the rest of the day, in the morning I'd have brain fog. Just 2 beers after not having any alcohol for 2 weeks, and I enjoyed the moment when I had it, but the backside, or the repercussions of it far outweighed that shorter period of time with the alcohol. It just carried out and lingered against me. And last night I went to bed without any drinks, and it was amazing. I feel great again. It just confirmed how much alcohol, for me personally, does not serve me. I'm so grateful that I pushed through to not drink for a long time. Now I said 2 weeks, but there's been periods where I've gone a year, and that was always lingering in the back of me when I was drinking. I was like, you did a year without alcohol. And that year was one of the best years ever. I felt like a superhero. I had so much energy, so much clairvoyance, it's so much time to put towards hobbies and habits that I enjoy. For example, when you're drinking, I tend to get pretty sleepy, or sometimes I get pretty rowdy, and rowdy meaning like I want to keep going, and so therefore I stay up later, or I go to bed too early, and I might have projects and dreams and pursuits that I want to work on, and therefore I'm self-sabotaging. I'm not able to do any of that because I go to bed early, or I eat bad foods and make poor choices. So as each time I dip my toes back into alcohol a little bit, I just keep reconfirming that alcohol is a negative, and the pros versus the cons are diminishing. The cons just keep the list grows longer and longer. So what I'm getting at is, if you haven't explored being sober or being without alcohol, there are a lot of dry month January, or take a year off, or take 6 months off and disappear from your friends and family and work out and come out as a new person, right? So all these new philosophies, new ways of becoming a new version of yourself. But I honestly, you need to hear that podcast. You need to look into how alcohol affects you. I've lost a lot of weight. My muscles and my exercise, I rebound faster. I grab the benefits in bigger handfuls, and I sleep better. I feel better. I like to think I'm looking better, and I am enjoying life. As each day of sobriety moves forward, you level out. The dopamine. That's why you need to listen to the podcast. Don't listen to me about it. But your levels in your brain starts to heal, right? It starts to regulate more. It starts to do what it was built to do, as opposed to the alcohol having such a large influence and impact in a negative way on your brain. And as you move away from drinking, you start to regulate. You start to become more of a homeostasis of a place where you're in a good place, as opposed to the alcohol kind of disrupts and creates these, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to free flow, right? Anywho, I have nothing but good to say about having alcohol out of my life. I enjoy it. Obviously, it saves you money. You can clearly go stay and hang out with your friends without drinking, especially these days with all the NA products, and be accepted and not be deemed a weirdo or strange. And people might ask why you don't, and you can share your story and you can impact them in a positive way and help them out and make it more acceptable. And I think by being sober, it also allows you to have to look in the mirror about yourself and grow up and become a better version and address and deal with things that you maybe suppress, bury, hide, numb through drinking. That's for now what I have to say. I hope this helps you, and I highly recommend that you take the leap. Now, if you are a regular drinker and you want to go sober, you have to taper, and you can look into that because there can be some life-threatening withdrawal effects on people. So, taper. So if you drink a 6-pack a night, maybe drink 5 the next day and drink 5 the next day and then drink 4 and then drink 4 and then drink 3. But there's also the dangers of backsliding, right? Drinking 6, then you get down to 3, and then you go out one night and have 6 again. Don't beat yourself up. If your goal is to go sober, keep going. Taper, find medical. Talk to your medical doctor, talk to a professional, talk to other people who are sober, go to an AA meeting. If that's your goal, don't give up. As I mentioned before in my talks, it doesn't matter about how many times it took you to quit drinking. If you have that as a goal, just keep going. It doesn't matter how many times you failed or you stumbled or you went sober for 2 weeks and then you had 2 beers. Don't beat yourself up. Just get back on that trail again and keep going. That's all that counts, in my opinion, is to just make sure that that's the majority of the goal, is to keep sober or get away from alcohol. No matter how long it takes. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you're not aware, this isn't a one-only video. I have a YouTube channel, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you do, thumbs up. If you enjoy these talks, subscribe. Other than that, I hope you have a beautiful day. Till next time.